longest time they've had the opportunity to cheer on their scum heroes like Goldust, Legion of Doom, Ken Shamrock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But when they come across that border, it's going to be a whole different story. We are just going to go in there and pound these guys in the dirt just like they deserve.
Well, gentlemen, here we are, moments away from perhaps stepping right into the lion's den, and whether it's true or not, a lot of people feel that your team could perhaps be the underdogs tonight.
I've been in unfriendly territories before, and I've been in with unfamiliar and untamable fighters before. But when I enter my zone, it's time to get it on.
Welcome to Last Match Standing, the podcast where we review, relive, and rank the 100 greatest wrestling matches of all time. As always, I'm Spencer.
I'm the British Bulldog.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you over this literal Canadian stampede of an audience that we have here.
I like what you did there.
Paul, the Canadian Stampede match.
I know, right?
Are you? How excited are you right now?
It made it.
Oh, man. I have been campaigning for this one for a couple months now, actually.
It's been a while.
It was brought to my attention that this match is fucking awesome, and I had never seen it. And we had a lull a week, and I just said, guys, Canadian Stampede. We put it on a vote, and it landslide.
It won, yeah. And it was a good poll, too. I thought
really
the poll was
was.
quality. I thought there was good stuff on there, but Canadian Stampede, far and away the winner,
man.
both on Twitter and Patreon. So.
And in our hearts.
You'll see just how much this match is in Paul's heart by the time this is said and done. I'm super excited about that.
I love this match.
Before we jump into Canadian Stampede, I do want to bring up a couple of good points that our listeners have brought up to us. First thing is a callback to Marty Jones and Rollerball Rocco.
Classic
match. Couple episodes ago, we had the most fun reliving that match. I really, really loved it. And the only problem that I encountered with that match is I did not know the commentator's name.
And we had a lot of trouble finding that information
And
as well.
I felt like an asshole. I just hated it.
Well, I think the problem that I had is I looked up, information on it, and they would spit out 7 different names. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Right. There was no title associated with them.
No, it was just broadcasters, and they gave us 6 names.
What name did we give them?
Ian Bradley.
Ian Bradley.
It sounds like a commentary name.
It's a very British name, too.
Surely if you are a commentator or do any type of announcing and your name is Ian Bradley, we'll send you a free T-shirt. Just let us know. But we were super, super grateful because...
Hey, Spencer, I just got 5 text messages from Ian Bradley's.
Oh, dang it.
Damn it. That's the time we asked who was Troy Green.
They were already...
Troy Green.
I actually know a guy on Facebook.
If you get that reference, DM me.
I actually know a guy on Twitter, Facebook, named Troy Green. I'm like, holy shit.
I have a friend I went to high school with
I
named
know,
Troy
it's the
Green.
same guy.
I just got 5 texts from people that got that reference.
Oh, man.
We were lucky enough. A friend, Brian, reached out to us on Facebook. Thank you so much, Brian, for this. He says, hey, guys, just listening to the Jones versus Rocco episode. As I'm in the UK, I can help with a couple of points. And boy, did we need it. World of Sport was a sports show that used to be on every Saturday afternoon from around midday until 5:15 p.m. They used to always show wrestling from somewhere in the UK at 4 p.m. for 45 minutes. The show ran from the late 60s until 1990-ish. The commentator was a guy called Kent Walton.
That's an awesome name.
We were so close.
No, we were not.
We're pretty close. I don't know.
Ian Bradley and Kent Walton are pretty far apart. Both are very British names, and both sound like they know their shit.
That's a good point.
That's for sure. This guy was, I mean, absolute joy to listen
He was
to.
so good. He was so good. Brian goes on to say, great podcast, by the way. I listen to it when I'm waiting to get the kids from school. Keep up the good work. So nice. Brian,
Really appreciate
thanks so
that.
much. Hope your kids are doing well in school. That's super. I'm a teacher. I can say that.
That's a good point.
He also gave us some awesome match suggestions, so I'm not going to spoil them, but they're really, really good. So,
You'll
that's
see him
fun
on a
stuff.
poll soon.
Yeah, you may do that for sure. But that's not the only British feedback we got, is it, Landon?
No.
Right, yeah. So Glorious AU reached out, and he had an idea of how to implement the British rounds system into NXT UK. So for the NXT UK British Rules Championship, how cool would this be?
Love it.
Every couple of episodes on NXT UK, there would be a British Rules match consisting of 5 rounds, each being 3 minutes and 30-second rest periods.
I'm in.
And I mean, Glorious AU goes on to explain how these would be grouped into 6 or 8 people who would compete in a round robin tournament. And I mean, it kind of goes on and on. We talked about it all day long because
God, it was like an all-day conversation.
it sounds like WWE needs to look at this and implement this.
yes, like it
I'm
can
excited.
work. It can work.
So yeah, definitely go check on that. That's a thread on our Twitter page.
Yeah, for sure. Glorious AU, thank you for that. You actually had another really great idea. Paul, do you remember what Glorious AU had to say?
I do. So we had posted our WrestleMania 6 episode on Patreon, and he asked us, like, why can't we do like a last Rumble, a last SummerSlam, or a last Survivor Series? And when I read that, my jaw hit the floor because I said,
Right.
guys, I found out our next 3 seasons.
Yeah, how fun is that? Glorious AU, we're so thankful that he is a patron, and he was referring to our Patreon exclusive spinoff series, Last Mania Standing, where we rank things a little bit differently, but we're ranking all the WrestleManias. And WrestleMania 6 had just dropped, and I mean, what an idea!
Ultimate Challenge.
The ultimate challenge. You can do us a little Vince.
It's the ultimate challenge at WrestleMania.
So good. You could do a lot of events for this Canadian Stampede match too.
Oh, there's
but-
a lot of Vince. Well, we get different. We get the.
It's a very different.
we
Vince.
get
Yeah.
the other Vince McMahon tonight. It's
very-
patriotism gone awry.
Oh,
Quite frankly,
just wait.
That
till we-
quite frankly was so on
a
point.
lot of quite frankly.
Just wait till we get there. I've got a bone to pick about that, but I do, and it makes me crazy. But I am all about doing Last Rumble Standing or Last
Oh, me
Survivor
too.
Series, whatever.
Even if we just do like the Rumble match and not the whole show, but
Yeah.
there's some Rumbles that I really the entire show start to finish I want to talk about.
Yeah, there's some really good Rumble pay-per-views. We're kind of talking about with Mania, and our good friend Ben, that's on Twitter as well, mentioned that I think he thinks the problem with the early Manias is that there's a lot of sort of nothing. There's some diamonds in the rough, but a lot of fluff.
There's a lot of filler.
Well, like Mania 1 had about 9 matches on it. Mania 2 had I think 12, and then 4, 5, and 6 all had like 14 matches each.
Yeah, and I
that
think
was a lot.
17 has 14 matches, but at WrestleMania, did I say 17?
You sure did.
WrestleMania 7 has 14 matches, but 8 is actually going to kind of rein it in a
Yeah,
little bit.
the-
There's like 9 matches on that card or something a
We
little bit
we get
smaller.
less matches that have just more time to work, and you start getting better storytelling.
Right.
For like 8 and then like 9, 10, not so much, but like 11 are notoriously bad.
Oh, can't wait. And if you want to hear us struggle through that whole thing, you can join us on Patreon and listen to Last Mania Standing. It's a ton of fun. Anything else for our correction corner that we never forget to do?
Right? Yeah, I think
don't think
I would
so.
like to correct us by saying we actually did a correction corner this time, and maybe
We did one.
Good work. Pat ourselves on the back. I feel very proud.
yeah.
That brings us to today, to entry number 33. We're 33% of the way through
I know,
this
right?
list now after today. From July, I just remembered because I read it with the numbers, and so I had to remember what the 7th month was.
7.
you have 33% chance.
Oh,
We should
God.
have done a Steiner match this episode. God, what a missed opportunity.
What are we doing?
Well, we could do it at 66 because you guys 66 and 2/6 chance of winning. Or even though we're not going to do more than 100 episodes, we can do 133 and 2/3% chance of winning. or we can come back at episode 50 for 50% chance.
This is
winning.
perfect.
Or I got 25% chance against my 75% chance. The numbers don't lie,
They don't lie.
and they spell out July 6, 1997.
They do. Absolutely. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the Canadian Airlines Saddle Dome.
That's
The Saddle Dome from, guys, this is our first In Your House.
Is our first In Your House.
From In Your House Canadian Stampede.
In your house.
We have the infamous Canadian Stampede match, the Hart Foundation, which, of course, is Brett Owen, Jim Neidhart, Brian Pillman, and the British Bulldog, versus Stone Cold, Ken Shamrock, Gold Dust, and the Legion of Doom in a 10-man tag team match.
I'll never forget this because we recently had been reached out saying, guys, I'd love to see more tag team matches. Oh, you want tag team matches? How about we give you 5 tag teams in one match?
Well, yeah, five-man tag team. Here we go. And actually, and I have to say, just full disclosure, if you would have told me that a 10-person tag would have been on the list of 100 greatest wrestling matches of all time at the beginning of this, I would have looked at you like you were crazy.
I would too. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like 10-man tags? Those are terrible.
Do we think that there's a Survivor Series traditional elimination match that might make the list at some point?
You know what? I think maybe the 2014 one.
There are a couple
Yeah.
of really good ones. Yeah,
There's
you're right.
some. That's possible.
Even if they're not the best matches, just like big spectacle moments.
Yeah.
Because we flirted the idea of a couple of different matches that we think might not be the best matches, but they at least deserve a spot just because the moment is so important or just like the grandeur of it. So it's just something, we'll think about it.
Well, yeah,
We'll-
you have essentially Austin's retirement, right, from
Yeah.
that Survivor Series with
03.
against Team Austin versus Team Bischoff. So, yeah, there are some really important matches in Survivor Series history. Well, you know what I always have to bring to the table here
Yes.
is a did you know?
Ooh,
Here we go.
Did you know the Calgary Stampede is an annual rodeo and festival held in July in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, with roots dating back to 1886. Wow. The 10-day event attracts more than 1 million attendees every single year. So in 97, Bret Hart's sister Diana was crowned Mrs. Calgary
Miss Calgary.
Stampede.
Oh, man.
Hence, the title for the 1997 In Your House pay-per-view in Canada.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't this event like bookend the festival?
Yes, actually.
That's so awesome.
I love In Your House, just in general. And this is the last year of In Your House, 1997. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think the final In Your House pay-per-view
I think they
was
have one
like,
more after this, maybe?
Yeah, I think like No Way Out of Texas, which is like 5 months later.
Man, No Way Out of Texas. I really like that.
I'm pretty sure that was the last In Your House.
It's just so good. And on commentary for our Canadian Stampede match, we have Jerry Lawler, who
He's not wearing a crown tonight. He's wearing a giant hat.
you know what the hat. You know what I thought of when I saw the hat on Lawler was
A
remember-
typical Thursday night.
That reminds me of John Cena when he was coming back. You know where I'm going with this? Where he was rapping on The Rock, and he says something to The Rock. Well, your mountain's broke back. Remember that? Yeah, anyway, it
It's like,
happened.
come on.
Yeah, it happened.
That's not even that's a good movie. Fuck off.
Yeah. So, anyway, the hat that Lawler was wearing reminded me of. Do you remember Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL?
What? Yes.
Burt Reynolds,
Excuse me.
Turd Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson. It's like, where'd you get that hat? I found this hat. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
So good. So good.
Stop chewing gum, damn it. 22 years ago.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. And Paul, thank you for your Turd Ferguson.
Oh, that's my favorite sketch of all
I
time.
needed it. It's so good. Lawler is wearing that hat. JR looks like JR. It fits the bill, right? And Vince McMahon is also on commentary, for better or for worse. And he's wearing like the vest that looks like a rug. It's
Oh,
just
God.
awful.
But just Vince wearing a cowboy hat, like, no.
Oh, man.
It's like,
Bad.
you look at it and you're like,
he's so out of place.
and not just Vince. Like when they show Doc Hendricks interviewing the Hart Foundation. He's wearing a 10-gallon hat. Finkel's wearing a 10-gallon hat.
Fink is wearing a 10-gallon hat.
It's like half the people in the front row are wearing them. I'm like, are we in? Where are we?
I was unaware that Canadian Stampede, like this whole country thing, like I was so unaware of this.
They are more Texas than Texas. They really are.
Them are fighting words.
I don't go back and watch this show, and then you take away all the Canadian flag. Like you would be convinced we're in San Antonio.
Well, and I love the set. You know, I've always loved the In Your
beautiful.
House set because, like, it looks like a house, and they've got the Canadian Stampede stuff on. It's just
it's the regular set, but they have like all the hay bales, and they have the branding iron. They have like the cattle skulls. I'm like, this is like it's so simple, but it's perfect. Also, gotta say, the best theme for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's bold.
It literally there's a cowbell. It's like a boom, down, and all of a sudden, like you hear a cow get branded. I'm like, fuck yes, I'm in for this. Let's do it.
Good. It is good because they're really hyping up the production value. You know, this can be argued as the pay-per-view, and this feud between, Austin and Hart can be argued that it's the feud that launched WWF into the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah, because like we're coming off the back of like the WrestleMania 13 feud. But what I find so interesting about this match is there's a couple of players who weren't supposed to be there originally. So Steve Austin was always supposed to be in this match, but this was supposed to be like reigniting the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels feud.
What?
Yes, this was supposed to be reuniting that feud. But about a week earlier, Shawn and Bret got into a fight in the backstage area, which culminated in Bret ripping out a chunk of Shawn's hair, and he did not return to TV until a couple weeks before SummerSlam.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Well, this is the same year that.
Shawn loses the smile. This is the same year that he doesn't compete at Mania.
Well, this is the same year that Bret gets screwed over. Yeah.
I mean, we're only a month or so out from that happening.
yeah,
it's
in this
insane.
moment.
Yeah, we're what 4 months?
Well, I mean, I keep thinking this is in October.
No,
It's
no,
definitely not.
July.
It's July. Yeah. We're looking at for 4 months or so.
Well,
Yeah.
and while we're talking about the Harts, a lot of people consider this pay-per-view the final great moment of the Hart family.
Well, if you want to really take the mood down, it is.
I mean, you have some argument can be made for Natalya coming in and having some really awesome moments that would carry on the legacy of the Hart family. But
Yeah, but I mean,
in its form that it was in the 90s, that this was it.
because I mean, like the tragedies literally start within 2 months.
So essentially, this match is the result of a pro wrestling perfect storm. Right?
Oh yeah,
You had Austin coming in at an opportune time when the fans desperately needed some fresh face to cheer.
they really did. The new generation really brought everybody down.
And Hart looking to pass the torch because the fans were turning on him, despite putting on some of the best matches of his entire career.
Well, he became this crybaby, piss whining, moaning little bastard.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm not going to cheer for him. He's coming out here telling me that I'm a dickhead because I like Steve Austin. So I mean, this match really comes from the fallout of the WrestleMania feud, because after that, Austin is firmly the fan favorite, and Bret is now this evil fucking bastard.
Yeah.
Comes out and basically criticizes the American fans, like, how dare you cheer for the likes of Stone Cold? Stone Cold, he's not a good role model. I'm a great wrestler. You should be cheering me. Like, boo, boo, stop whining and beat somebody up. So where we get to Stampede from is at the King of the Ring, the Hart Foundation had been reunited. So going into King of the Ring, Jim Neidhart had been out of the company for a while. Brian Pillman was just kind of getting back to a place where he could actually wrestle. And Owen and Davey had just had their big breakup, and they had started feuding. And so they're having this big fight. I'm like, oh, man, Owen and the Bulldog are feuding now. And Bret comes out and says, no, Owen, what are you doing? You're my younger brother. I love you. I always thought that you were better than this. It's like, Davey, you're married to my sister. You're my brother-in-law. Like, we are bigger than this. We need to band together. It's these American fans that are turning us against each other. It's not us. Like, come on, shake hands. And then Owen's like, all right, Davey, I'm sorry. And then like, all right, Owen, I'm sorry. And they shake hands. All right. And then like a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, Jim Neidhart comes on TV like, oh, man, where's he been? That guy right there, Jim Neidhart, he's a nut. I don't like him. And then I'll never forget this because Brian Pillman comes out as their spiritual advisor.
Oh, my God.
Hang on. And all 5 members are kneeling in the ring in prayer. And so Pillman looks over and he's like, Brother Owen, what do you want to pray for? And he's like, I want to pray that my brother gets better soon and wins the WWF title. Awesome. He's like, British Bulldog, what do you want to pray for? I want to pray that Owen and I win the tag titles. I want to pray that Bret Hart wins the World Wrestling Federation title. It's like, great. They're getting heel heat off of prayer in the Bible Belt.
This is the Attitude Era right here.
And there's an amazing episode of Raw that ends with Pillman praying, and he looks and goes, yeah, like it's this really creepy Joker-like smile. And so then the reunited Hart Foundation, reinvigorated, here we go. They roll into King of the Ring, and Bret Hart basically says he has an open challenge. The 5 best American wrestlers will face us at the next show. And so the night afterwards, Austin is like, all right, I'll face you at whatever the show's going to be. And so he immediately gets beaten down by the entire Hart Foundation. And so there's a match it's supposed to be Neidhart versus Mankind. And that match ends with Mankind getting the beatdown. And so Austin and Ken Shamrock run out to save Mankind. But after they run off the Hart Foundation, Austin just gives Shamrock a stunner. It's like, what the fuck? And so the next week, it's Austin versus Pillman, and the entire Hart Foundation are all handcuffed to the posts.
Oh, nice. Of course.
But it's wrestling, so naturally they get free, and we get the post-match beat down on Austin. And so when this is happening, Shamrock, Mankind, and Goldust all run out, and they save Austin, and then Austin and Shamrock start fighting again. And then the Legion of Doom come out, and they're all like, well, we think we should... I'm sorry, I can't do a Hawk
You're
impression.
doing a great job.
Well, we think we should band together and fight this Canadian. Yeah, because that's how they do their promos. They shout at each other.
You nailed the well.
Well, bye diddly do squat. Which is an actual quote from Hawk, by the way. So the Legion of Doom says we should band together, and so even though Mankind is there, Mankind's not in the match. So the match is set. It's Canadian Stampede. We got Shamrock, Austin, Goldust, Legion of Doom versus the Hart Foundation, and here we fucking go.
Why wasn't Mankind in it?
I really think that Mankind was the Shawn Michaels is supposed to be here, but because of the heat that Shawn and Bret had, no Shawn Michaels, and they didn't trust Shamrock just yet, but they put him out there anyway because him and Steve still had heat from him and Steve and Bret all still had heat from their WrestleMania 13.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
This card as a whole is really considered one of the best.
Oh, this show's off the charts.
Opening match is Taka Michinoku and the Great Sasuke.
Right?
Or the Great Sasuke, as JR calls him.
Well, and you get Triple H versus Mankind.
Yep.
Yeah. Triple H versus Mankind. Triple H was the winner of the King of the Ring that year.
Yeah. It was the King of the Ring, and their feud wasn't settled.
Undertaker defends the WWF title
against Vader.
And it's just really, really good. Before they get to the Canadian Stampede main event at the end, Stone Cold, his team gets interviewed, kind of second in the night. The first one is the Hart Foundation. They get interviewed by Michael Hayes, who looks as ridiculous as everyone else.
A white hat on.
Yeah, well, white hat. And the Hart Foundation is starting to get interviewed, but Stone Cold interrupts. And he's like back in their locker room trying to make a mess out of it. Later in the night, Stone Cold team gets interviewed. Animal and Hawk just go wild.
Yeah, as they were known to do.
Yeah, they just go totally crazy. You know, they take it to a 10 instantly. And Stone Cold doesn't talk at all. Before the match starts, we get a real treat. It's a real treat. We get "Oh Canada," not from Robert Goulet, not in my dreams. No, instead, we get it from Farmer's Daughter.
Who?
That's Farmer's Daughter.
They were a local group out of Canada.
This is that really popular Canadian country music. I
Really?
assume.
Yeah, just totally blaring.
It totally was.
All over.
Yeah, but listen, the crowd loves it. So I'm telling you, I think it's legitimately really popular. I don't know.
Oh yeah, like this crowd is
They sounded good.
nuclear all night.
Yeah, they sounded good.
Like they always say, oh, you got to have that one come down match to cool the crowd. No, you don't. Just keep building this crowd up, and then here we go.
And
Fever
this is
pitch.
what you get.
This is it. You get
Oh.
Farmer's Daughter.
I love that because right after they have like the ceremony where they go, oh, now to the premiere I'm assuming is like the equivalent of the mayor of Calgary.
Ralph Klein. Yeah, he's like the head of the government. in
He's
some ways.
sitting right next to Stu. And like, and then we got Stu and Helen Hart, and they stand up, and Stu's all like, "Yes, I'm Stu Hart." And then Helen's all like, "Yes, you're Stu Hart." And then they get a standing ovation.
That's my new favorite impression. Helen Hart. Yes, you're Stu Hart.
I love Helen Hart. I'm not gonna do an impression of Helen Hart out of respect for her.
That was
But
very good.
what I love about this is it's like literally before they even sit down. Here we go. First music to hit. Gold Dust.
At a combined weight of 1,359 pounds. How much do we love combining the weight of all
I
five
love
men?
it. But you know what that was interesting? Because Gold Dust comes out, silence.
Yep.
And then they mention no Marlena, nope, because she's at home being a super mom to their young daughter, Dakota. I'm like, why would you mention that?
Right. Why is that
Oh
necessary?
yeah, like yeah, Dakota is sick, so she's staying home and being a good mom. I'm like,
Okay.
why would you? Okay. And then here comes Shamrock, and whoa, he gets some fucking heat there, booing the shit out of him. And as he's walking into the ring, well, ABC News says he's the most dangerous man in the world. That stands to be seen yet.
Is that a JR?
Yeah.
I could tell if it was JR or maybe just Vince being extra country
Yeah.
because he's doing the Canadian
I don't know. It'd
Stampede.
be pretty fun. But yeah, ABC says he's the world's most dangerous man, but that
Yeah.
stands to be seen. I'm like, way to cut a guy's fucking momentum.
Right.
And then here comes the Road Warriors. They get their traditional mixed like pop, and then all of a sudden we get American Originals. Are the Road Warriors Hawk and Animal? I'm like, thank you, Vince. And then finally the glass shatters, and oh my god,
The booze.
nuclear heat. But you notice Team USA all come out separately. They come out separately, into the ring separately, get
Yep.
their own entrance. We hear, I know I've said 1,000 times, this is the best theme in wrestling, but the loose cannon theme.
So good.
Oh, Brian
Yeah.
Pillman walks out and waits on the ramp.
And they love him.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Brian Pillman walks out, and I was almost knocked over by how crazy the ovation was, and I wasn't even there.
You're so right.
And like they pointed out as he's walking out, this man is a former Cincinnati Bengal and also played for the Calgary Stampeders.
And then
Wow.
Neidhart walks out,
Oh, man. Who
and
hasn't?
somehow it gets even louder.
Oh, yeah. And once again, he comes out and he waits on the ramp. Here comes the British Bulldog. And, oh, no, sorry. Neidhart walks out and says, "This is the real deal." And the British Bulldog comes out with Diana, who, as you mentioned earlier, had just been crowned Mrs. Calgary. Oh, man. And then Owen.
Owen Hart comes out.
The roof comes off the building when Owen comes out.
He's got the slammy.
He's got the Slammies and the Intercontinental title.
Yes, he does. And, dude, like, he had actually, everyone remembers Owen with the flat top. This was the debut of the flat top
I love the flat top.
because he still had the long hair before this.
And those
new
Slammies.
haircut, new
love it so
singlet.
much.
2 Slammies. Bulldog's got 2 titles. I've got 2 Slammies. Boom. Let's
The
do
numbers
this.
don't lie.
No, they don't. And then they all wait, and then Brett comes out, and they all walk down to the ring together with Brett's theme playing, and the crowd is so loud you cannot hear Finkel announce any
No,
of
I
them.
wanted to know what their combined weight was.
You can't hear it. The crowd's so loud.
No
Because,
clue.
like, they do the, like, when Brett comes out, he does, like, Bret Hart, and it's like, you can't hear him. It's so fucking loud.
Yeah, he turns into the parents on the Peanuts.
And I gotta be honest, Brett gives his glasses to his mom.
He does. And King says, I didn't know they came in bifocals.
That's not funny, King. I was just funny 25 years ago when it was said the first time. I'm like, whoa, calm down, JR.
That is exactly what happens. That's why I brought it up because it's the best.
It's
He's
like
so
earlier in the
mad.
night, he said something like, "You want to come down there, King? Huh? You need some stevia. You need to calm down." I'm like, Jesus Christ, Jim.
So I don't know what it is about hate comedy, but my favorite part of The Office is Michael's hatred of Toby. And my favorite thing about Jerry the King Lawler is his hatred of Stu and Helen
he hates
Hart.
him so much for no reason, apparently.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh man,
I mean, we talked about that at length when we went over Brett and Owen at WrestleMania 10.
I always hated Owen. I like to see Stu come out in his orthopedic tuxedo. There are no jokes like that tonight.
It's the best.
Oh man,
Oh,
but
gosh. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and then so there's 10 guys in the ring, and the
They're
crowd's
stare down.
losing their minds.
Oh man.
The stare down happens, and you know
It's just like the crowd's at a 10. The hard cameras are shaking.
the hard camera. I mean, you don't ever see that.
The camera's shaking, and then it's like the arena's shaking. Like the whole building is shaking right now. I'm like, yes, I imagine it.
JR, you got to be here to feel this.
If
he
there was
says.
if there was ever a match where the crowd earns a spot on the list of 100 greatest matches of all
it's
time,
this one.
this is that match.
Like I want to
Yeah.
go back in time and experience this.
right? Imagine being there. It sort of makes me want to go to a Stampede.
Yeah, me too.
Like
actually.
it's an annual event. It's an annual festival.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm in.
It's like a rodeo, so fuck it, let's do it.
Let's go. Calgary Stampede. Let's go.
Calgary is only like 27 hours away.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe 30.
So this match sort of comes in phases, right? So you start off with the Brett and Austin.
Right, Austin.
How about that? Starting with that though,
Yeah.
because when you think about these bigger tag team matches now, and not even now,
They
for the
never
last
give that
15,
to
20
us.
years, they don't give it to you,
No.
especially early on. You might get it towards the end of the match,
Yeah, like the
when it's the important finish.
First 5 minutes is Brett and Steve.
Right,
Yeah.
crazy, so good, so good.
And then you kind of transition into the Shamrock Neidhart segment. Beautiful work from Shamrock here.
Oh,
Using-
yeah.
Yeah.
He's able to use Neidhart's weight against him, which is always fun to see.
Well, it's
And-
like, just like two brick shithouses beating the shit out of each other, and of course Ken wins.
Well, yeah. Well, Neidhart realizes he's outmatched,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he tags in Pillman. So then you get the Pillman
Here
Shamrock.
we go.
Pillman is an interesting matchup for Ken Shamrock. For every bit as methodical as Ken Shamrock is, Brian Pillman is just as devious.
I love because like he does a backbreaker, and then he just like he grabs Ken's hand and makes him tap. I go, look at that, he's tapping out.
he's so smart. Like he's
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
the intelligence factor when it comes to thinking of new and creative ways to embarrass your opponent.
He just gets so much heat. Well, at this point, he really couldn't. He was at like maybe 50% of what he used to be. So you're right. He's so smart. He found other ways to get heat and just like psychology, and he was genius.
and a man that understood the wrestling business.
He really did.
And then the next segment we slide into is Owen Hart Gold Dust.
Which is really, really good. I mean, because Owen is just stupendous. Owen hits its really big enziguri.
Oh, huge enziguri.
That's just fantastic. There's an Austin sucks chant happening while Goldust and Owen Hart are going at it.
Apparently, Austin hopped down from the ring apron and was just talking shit to fans and getting them worked up.
It was working.
He's the only person who really, okay, we're heels. I'm going to wrestle heel. Because everybody else on Team USA did their regular, I'm a babyface, I'm going to have babyface fire, and they just get booed. Steve's like, no, fuck that.
Lean
Low
in.
blows, eye rakes. Like, just some of the shit he does, especially later in the match to Owen, is like, motherfucker.
You got to lean in.
He did. And he got some nuclear fucking heat, and it worked.
How about the Bulldog Hawk exchange?
Boy, Hawk hits this splash on Owen. I guess it was Owen before
It was
Bulldog
Owen.
comes in the match. And Owen puts a sharpshooter on Hawk, but Animal comes in and stops it, and that's when the Bulldog section comes in. And that's just two dudes.
Bulldog comes in the ring and immediately does the standing delayed vertical suplex.
It's like, yeah, you might be strong, but let me show you how strong
Yeah.
I am.
Ridiculous
Yeah.
power.
And then
Oh,
he does the running
man.
power slam as if he's saying, you might be a powerhouse, but I'm stronger.
That power slam. I mean, I could have watched those two
Oh, yeah.
just go at it.
Well, how about Brett and Animal?
I was actually very impressed by that.
I was really impressed by Animal in this match. So Animal charges Brett in the corner, and Brett gets the boot up, and that thing connected.
It sure did. It sure did.
Oh, God. And then one of the most interesting things happens. Goldust gets tagged in. And so now we have Goldust and Brett. So the son of Stu and the son of a plunner, if you will. Because they don't say Dusty Rhodes, but they make about 1 million references to Dusty.
What I love about Goldust being in the match right here is one of my favorite parts happens, and it's the first time it happens in this match. And it's they bring Goldust to the corner of the Hart Foundation. They tie him up in the Tree of Woe, and then everyone just decides to wallop
they
Goldust.
beat
They
the
beat
shit out of
the
him.
holy hell out of him. It's the best. I love it so much.
There's a really funny moment when that happens. Shamrock runs over and just punches Brett, and you can tell he connected because Brett just kind of like squats down, and then Shamrock is kind of like, "Hey, ease up," and was like, "He's like, hey, get out of it. What are you doing, buddy?"
Can we take a moment to appreciate the flawless timing of Owen Hart's spinning heel
Oh,
kick?
thing of beauty.
It's perfect.
He hits a top rope missile drop kick, and he fucking kips up and just he brings that crowd like to that extra push over the edge to an 11.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, Paul, here's the deal. Animal gets tagged in. And Landon, you talked about how impressive Animal was, but he's going to be vital to this show.
Very
Paul,
vital.
Why is that?
Well, Owen Hart goes for Hurricane Rana, but Animal holds him on his shoulders for about 3 seconds and then drops him for a vicious power bomb, thus continuing the fucking streak.
We have beautiful power bomb and a scoop power slam that is just gorgeous. I mean, Randy Orton, eat your heart out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this sets up, of course, the Doomsday device.
Oh, yeah, and for the first time in the match, all 10 men start brawling. Here we go.
The melee. But it's a big, important part, right? The melee breaks down. People are going nuts. But the action focuses in on Owen Hart, who's laying with his legs, with the ring post in between his legs in the corner.
Austin just brutalizes him. He slams his leg on the ring post, and he gets a chair out and smashes him. Well, that's just very interesting. He gets the chair, and he smashes him a couple times, and then Bruce Hart tries to pull the chair away from him, and then Steve gets in Bruce's face, and Bruce throws his beer on him.
Yeah, this is Bruce who's in the crowd technically, right?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
sitting next to Stu and Helen, and he's part of the Hart family. And he this has the, and I think what I love about this match in whole from beginning to end, especially the after part, is this is as real as it gets.
Oh, yeah.
I buy every second of it.
And then so Owen has to be helped out of the ring by the officials. It's like, oh man, that's 5-on-4. How is the Hart Foundation going to come back from this? Well, Steve rolls in that ring with Anvil, and they proceed to beat his ass in that fucking corner.
Just like they did Goldust. Yeah,
Oh,
Austin
it's
gets
even
beat
worse.
down.
Like, I mean, I don't want to say they do the unicorn stomp, but they all kind of do the unicorn stomp almost. They all just take turns stomping the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I know Spencer started sweating when he saw Neidhart grab Austin up into a bear hug.
Oh man, I just thought number one. That's what this match is going to be. That's all I thought.
Oh, but I thought interesting because they did the old heart attack, which is the
Yes.
backbreaker into the second rope
Yes,
elbow drop.
indeed.
I'm like, fuck yes.
So good. What a wonderful callback.
Oh, they even said it's the old Hart Foundation finish right there, but the original Hart Foundation, Brett Neidhart. I'm like, thank you, Vince, for pointing that out. But then, oh gosh, just when you didn't think there was a time to kind of, all right, guys, this is getting really intense. Let's lighten up a little bit. Brian Pillman comes in the ring, and then Steve immediately pulls his pants down on him. And so he's like trying to in the ring, and Steve's still holding on to his pants. And then my favorite quote of the night, well, Brian Pillman is, quite frankly, making an ass out of himself. Somebody had to get their ass out.
But then the game changes. So Austin hits the center on Pillman, and Pillman sort of like gets dragged out of the ring, and then Austin is forced out of the ring as well because of this.
Oh, yeah.
And
then
Bret Hart gets his revenge for Owen.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They
Yeah,
tie-
well, at this point, Austin just says, fuck it. And he starts tossing everybody into the ring. And like I said, that's when he hits the stunner on Pillman. I just thought it was really interesting how his idea of a good idea in a match like this was to throw everybody into the ring.
Right. Let's just make it the biggest melee possible.
yeah, but
he gets his comeuppance.
Oh, yeah. Brett does. He smashes him with the knee with a fire extinguisher, and then he does the big turnbuckle figure 4. And I'm like, oh, my God, Steve's getting his comeuppance. And then we get another fucking brawl on the outside as Steve gets carried out of the ring by officials. We're now 4-4. Here we go.
Yeah, and well, then we have a nice little change of pace, right? Because it's Animal Neidhart, and they do a test of strength. And
oh, man, it was awesome, too.
this entire time, from start to finish, the crowd has not quieted down.
No, they have not.
Not at all.
I love this because you mentioned Anvil and Animal did the strength test, and then JR points out how Jim Neidhart earned the nickname the Anvil when he won the Anvil Toss contest right here in Calgary, Canada. And then as he's saying this, he starts overpowering the big powerhouse of the Legion of Doom, and I'm like, here we fucking go. Oh man.
The Austin gets taken to the back segment is important to note because now it's 4-on-4, right? And you're right, Landon. The pace does absolutely change. We get Brett and Shamrock in the ring.
Which is very interesting because we have not seen that one yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shamrock is actually going for a submission.
He's going for the ankle lock.
He's going for the ankle lock. Pillman comes in instantly and clotheslines Shamrock.
Just takes him out.
And that's when Vince McMahon says, because he's talking about how Pillman and that Hart Foundation can do anything, and the crowd's going to cheer them. And that's when he says that patriotism has gone awry.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm sorry. There's another moment because Shamrock kind of gets the better of Brett again, and he's like motioning he's going to do the ankle lock, and he just kind of stands there. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he lets Brett up. It's like, all right, come on, let's go. And I'm like, oh, he was saying, I got you, but come on, let's fight. And then Brett immediately schools him how to wrestle.
There you go.
Let me just say, patriotism gone awry pisses me off. And
Yeah.
And it just does because
America or bust.
that's it.
Yeah, we said this about WrestleMania 6. Like, I don't like this whole. It's patriotic if we do it, but if somebody else is patriotic, then it's heel heat. And I'm like, no, anyone can be a patriot, and just because we, the Americans, are in another country, doesn't mean they're not allowed to be patriotic. And it doesn't magically get heel heat. Just because you, Vince, think that America is the good guys in the situation, you're wrong. You're in Canada. The Canadians are the good guys.
And there you have it. That's that on that.
That's at Paul out there.
There's a T in there. Paul T.
There you go.
Hey, Skr.
Shamrock gets his revenge on Pillman for breaking up the submission because the match changes kind of into Act 3. And this is kind of where it stays the rest of the match. He throws Pillman into the table at ringside. And it's not like the throw over the table into the chairs that you
like
kind of
head
used to
first
now.
into the table.
It's mean. It's mean looking. And, of course, Vince says, all hell is breaking loose.
Oh, because he's right.
And he's absolutely right. But he also uses the word, this partisan crowd. He uses that probably 10 times throughout this match.
That's fair. Partisan crowd, but don't say it's patriotism gone awry just because you disagree with the crowd.
Yeah, well, Canada's kind of always Bizarro World, right? They always kind of
Yeah.
cheer the heels, which I love because they appreciate good wrestling. It's when you know you're in
Right.
front of an intelligent crowd.
I got a moment to this one. We can't skim over this. Right before Pillman gets thrown headfirst into the table.
Oh my God!
There's a moment where Hawk pulls him off the apron, and you hear JR go, "Hawk jerking Pillman off the apron."
Oh, boy.
Oh, he corrected himself pretty quick. The apron, off the apron. And then,
And this is right after we see Pillman's ass.
I know
so-
exactly. It's like, ooh.
that gif of
we
Vince
have
in the
Vince.
mirror. Yeah.
We do have a moment that I quoted as the Bulldog and Shamrock trying to out-hoss each other.
Hey, that's a good way to put it.
It's like, holy shit. I don't think Shamrock understood just how powerful that Davy Boy was. Because they start trading some blows that look pretty stiff.
I love this moment. Goldust Irish whips Bulldog into the corner, and then he runs the ropes diagonal to Bulldog so that whenever he comes off the ropes, he'll have just enough momentum to catch Bulldog on the ricochet
For the
from the
Bulldog.
turnbuckle to drive his head down with a Bulldog.
A Bulldog to the Bulldog. I'm like, oh, wow, thanks again, Vince.
It was a really unique way to set up a Bulldog.
Oh, God. And then we get a fucking superplex.
But did you catch JR's Dusty impression here? Because
Yes.
we do notice that he does several. but-
Bulldog, if you will.
Bulldog headlock, if you will.
Because I said he does not mention Dusty, but he definitely references him a few times. But during this commotion, Austin returns. Like, oh God, here we go, back to 5-4.
Because
And
this is wrestling, and that's what happens.
And of course, Brett gets tagged in.
Yeah, now we're back to Brett and Austin.
And they just start fucking brawling again, and we just
They
start-
swing.
suplexes, stomps, neck breakers. Good God.
I just want to say, praise Bret Hart for the sternum spot.
Oh, every time I see
Oh,
it,
my
And
Bret-
all I have to
gosh.
do is say sternum spot, and everybody knows what
Feels
I'm
it.
talking about. It's the Bret Hart classic running up against the ropes at full speed. Ouch.
Oh,
You know
God.
who else did that, and it looked almost as painful, but it never looked as painful as when Brett did it? Was Benoit. Benoit used
He
to do
did.
it
Yes, he did do that.
He really
Yeah.
did.
Animal has to come into the match because the sharpshooter gets put on Steve
It gets
Austin.
locked in.
And Animal's in there quick to make sure it goes away. Austin then puts the sharpshooter on Brett, and guess who comes and breaks that up?
Oh, and it comes back and breaks the sharpshooter. Yeah!
Did y'all catch Bret Hart's spinning neck breaker?
Yes.
Oh, man.
That was the most beautiful neck breaker I think I've ever seen.
It was
actually-
lightning quick.
A moment we did gloss over at one point. Brett does, of course, the Brett's rope elbow, second rope. He locks Steve in a sleeper hold, and Steve just hits the stunner
Hit
to
the
break
stunner from a sleeper
it. I was
hold.
like, oh, like how come nobody ever thought about that before? It's the perfect place to do it. But you're right. So when Owen comes back in and breaks that the sharpshooter, goddamn, here we go. Austin hops out of the ring and I'm sorry. He's going out of the ring. Bruce Hart throws a drink at him, and then he runs over and immediately just starts taking swipes at Stu.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't attack Bruce. He goes and attacks Stu. Yeah.
And then so Bruce attacks him. Bruce hops the barricade. I believe Smith Hart hops the barricade, and they start brawling with Steve, who gets pushed back in the ring and rolled up by Owen Hart for the pinfall.
And then it's not over.
Oh, no, it's not over. The entire Hart family hops the barricade. So we have the Hart Foundation. Then we've got Bruce, Keith, Smith, and there's one more who, fuck's sake, I don't remember his name. But there's like 5 different Harts in the ring all at one time. They're all brawling with each other.
And JR says, families that fight together survive together. You can see Fighting with Your Family in theaters.
You know what?
Oh God!
In all seriousness, though, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Brian, Jim, Owen, and Davey Boy celebrating with Brett, I teared up a little.
Oh,
bit.
the whole family comes in. They Stu and Helen get in there, and it's like, oh man. Then the kids come in, all the grandkids. Teddy Hart is there, Natalia's there, Tyson Kidd is there, like the whole fucking family. Then we've got Martha, we've got Ellie, we've got Diana. Like everyone is there. The entire family.
You got
3 generations.
Tyson Kidd and Natty are in there.
Yes, they are. Along with Teddy. They're all
Crazy.
the entire extended family is there, and it's just I'm like, this is such a beautiful moment. And Austin tries to ruin it by getting in the ring with a chair.
And so he's cuffed in the middle of the ring, and on his
They
way
beat
out,
his ass.
they do. But my favorite part
Oh, this is the best part.
is on the way out.
Is that
What happens, Paul? I can't talk.
Okay, so he's handcuffed, and he bends over forward, and he's giving the double bird salute to everybody. He does it to the ring, to the fans, to the camera. And it's like, you piece of trash. He gets taken away by the cops.
It's amazing.
It's my favorite.
Oh, man. And guys, like that was fucking awesome.
This match
It was so fun.
is so important to WWF history.
It really is.
So after this, Bret Hart would go on to defeat The Undertaker for the WWF Championship, only to lose the belt in November to Shawn Michaels, and we all know how that went. And Austin would continue to feud with Owen Hart after Canadian Stampede, but
SummerSlam.
at SummerSlam, Owen would botch a pile driver that would break Austin's neck in the middle of the ring. But guess what? Austin was booked to win the match.
So he crumpled his way over there and did a roll up. It looked like shit, but that's the booking.
Let's call it an unsuspected roll up, right? It's the most dangerous move in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Pillman died 3 months later of a heart attack.
Yeah.
After Canadian Stampede.
I mean, I didn't want to go there, but like he died like the day before Bad Blood. He no-showed the event. Like, where's Pillman? Oh, he's dead. And so the next night on Raw, they had like the Raw is Pillman, and then of course we get the screw job, and then literally barely not even 2 years later, we have Owen's tragic death, and then within 2 years of Owen dying, Stu, Helen, and Davey all pass away as well. So like this moment right here is so important because this is the last time the entire family is like on a grand stage celebrating together because tragedy literally starts 3 months later.
Yeah, it's very, very emotional.
So it's really nice though to be able to look back at this, and here we are. You know, we're 23 years later, just about, and we can look back at this as a celebration of the Hart family.
Yeah.
right? And all of those guys. It is incredibly important, and it is a big deal, and it's something very, very special. And in the moment you knew it was big.
Oh yeah.
But to be able to look back at it, obviously in retrospect, knowing what happened, it just has been elevated to another level.
Exactly.
And it's just it's emotional to watch it now.
It really is. Because we look back. I mean, you got the entire Hart Foundation. Only one of them's left.
Right.
And it's Brett. He's the only one still with us. And then you look at the Team WWF. We're only missing one of them.
It's really hard when you really start to think about it, and viewing it from that perspective is difficult. But if you view it as a celebration of just one of the greatest families and some of the greatest people in the business ever, you're just grateful for it. And it's a hell of a combination. We
owe so much to the Hart family in the dungeon. Like, just imagine the talent that would have never come out of there if it weren't for Stu and all of the work that the Hart family has done. So huge thanks to the Hart family and to the Canadian wrestling scene in general. It's just such an important part of this worldwide family of pro wrestling.
I mean, they give us some of the finest wrestlers we've ever known.
No doubt.
Favorite moment?
Fuck, man. The entrances, the stare down, just the absolute chaos that broke out multiple times. And I'd be lying if I didn't say the entire Hart family celebrating at the end. Like, it's a beautiful moment.
It is. My favorite moment in the match, I just kind of popped so hard for it, was what I was talking about earlier with Goldust. Which is odd, right? You look at all the people in the ring, and my favorite moments from something Goldust did. Not to talk bad about Goldust, I fucking love that guy. But the Bulldog was so innovative, was so creative. The using Brett's he hit it on Brett, right? Or no, British Bulldog.
British
Hit
Bulldog,
the Bulldog
yeah.
on the Bulldog. Using Bulldog's own momentum, running him to Irish whipping into the corner, and then the perfect timing of hooking the arm for the Bulldog. It looked really, really good.
It was very innovative. I don't remember anybody doing it like that before.
I am going to say two things. One of them is Austin flipping everybody off with the handcuffs on. It just makes me laugh a lot.
Look at he had to bend forward to do it.
It just makes me laugh so much. But I'm actually going to say Goldust as well, which is very bizarre. And it's not only Goldust, but the moments when the Hart Foundation ganged up and just
so beating the shit out of Goldust.
Beat the shit out of Goldust or beat the shit out of Austin. I loved that so much because the crowd went nuts both times. They thought it was incredible, and it was. And seeing the Hart Foundation as a unit like that is just something special, and I'm really, really glad we were able to cover this match for that reason.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. But
if this podcast was last crowd standing, this would be number one.
This is it.
And honestly, that crowd and just the presentation is going to play a major factor into where we rank this.
Yeah. So
I mean, if we were doing last crowd standing, it's got to be one Canadian Stampede. One A would have to be Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh boy,
no,
the worst crowd ever.
Yes. No?
They'll
Okay.
never return?
Just me? Okay. We have to rank this match, as a matter of fact. We're 32 matches in. We're now a third of the way through, just about. I don't want to do this. Anyone else?
Honestly, this might be one of the hardest matches to rank.
We say that every episode. We have to stop saying
this
that.
Legitimately might be one of the hardest ones to rank because we really think about this.
There's
match.
nothing like it.
There isn't
on the list.
like this. Like it's a 10-man tag. It is freaking bell to bell is one of the most exciting matches I've seen. And not just because the crowd's amazing, but the crowd really elevates the match. But what I love about this match is everybody looks good in this. Everybody has their quick little 5-minute sequence. They look great. They tag out. Nobody looks weak. Nobody looks too strong. Everybody looks like a fucking star. Everybody.
So I'll go first because I am sure of where I would put it. And I don't want to downplay the importance of the Hart family, the importance of this moment in wrestling, the importance of how crazy the crowd was. But for me, a 10-person tag team match at the end of the day is not what I consider one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. So I would put this at number 33.
Really?
I would.
Oh, I was going to put it at number 3.
Number
I'm just kidding. I was actually looking at putting it right underneath the Royal Rumble match, so at number 23.
Interesting. I have no clue. Ultimately, I think my ceiling was 23. My ceiling was like the highest I would rank this match would be right underneath the Rumble. I agree with that.
And I'm your floor, huh?
And yeah, that would make you the floor, obviously. Kind of for the same reasons you say, Landon. Like it is a very fun match. It's. I love all the stuff that goes on before and after. I love the crowd. I love all of that a ton. And it's memorable, and the characters and the wrestlers are great. It just when I'm comparing it to, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, or Cactus Jack, Triple H, like it gets hard there. Even over Awesome and Tanaka seems tough. I
don't think so.
Yeah, I know. I would put it at 28.
28
after CM Punk Undertaker, ahead of Kim and Kong. That's what I would do. Or
right under CM Taker.
Right underneath CM Punk and Taker. How do you feel about that, Landon and Paul?
I can see that. I don't really have an argument against it other than, I fucking love this match.
Yeah, I feel how I feel about a 10-man tag. I mean, I enjoyed this match, don't get me wrong. But if I'm having to put it up against a match that isn't a 10-man tag, I'm going to pick the one that's not a 10-man tag.
I don't know, man. This is like one of the most rewatchable matches we've done. Like,
it is rewatchable. Well, I say that.
Fun.
If you watch the whole segment, it's almost like 40 minutes.
It's a long one.
I mean, if you the whole thing, but if you just watch the match is like 20 minutes. 22, I think. It's like 22 or 23. It's not very long. It's deceptive. Like the match is up
24-31.
24. Okay, it's really not that long.
But it a 24-minute singles match feels longer than a 24-minute 10-man tag.
This does not feel long at all. It's so quick because like I said, nobody stays in the ring too long. They don't ask if they welcome. They come in, they look good, and then before you're all right, let's see the next tramp. Oh, here we go. We see literally every combination. Everybody wrestles each other. Everybody looks good. Owen gets so much fucking like babyface fire. Steve gets fucking absolutely nuclear heel heat. And more importantly, he's not afraid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is when he's supposed to be the number one babyface. No, fuck that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to be the biggest son of a bitch on the planet. And he did it. And the next night on Raw, he's back to the top babyface.
I don't know. I guess it is kind of lightning in the bottle, like a one-time.
It really is. We're never going to see anything like this ever again.
I think the fact that it was one fall to a finish hurts it for me, even though it does prevent it from being an hour long.
I would love for this to have been like an elimination match, but I imagine it's in July.
Well, and the finish in and of itself was very underplayed.
It was murky.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was underplayed. I think it was Owen taking advantage of Steve,
which then sets up
their match,
the feud. So I'm kind of okay with it,
but
considering that.
But with the one fall thing, it's going to be one fall. The match seems kind of silly for a little bit of it because it's like we're putting these finishing move submissions on each other, and they're only going on for half a second because someone's coming in to stop it,
right.
Or someone's coming in to stop the pin after a finish.
Well, that way nobody looks.
This is the problem with the 10-man tag.
Well, that way
right.
you protect the move and you protect the people in the ring.
Yeah,
True.
I understand why they do it. I don't. It doesn't bother me just in terms of a one fall finish making sense in a 10-man match. It doesn't. And so that's the thing that holds it back. I absolutely understand and get why they would stop them. Stop the pins and the stuff.
I don't want my team to lose.
Yeah, no, and I absolutely get it, and I think it logically makes all the sense in the world, but in terms of dramatics, it takes away from it.
I agree. I that's like my only real takeaway is that when they get the big move, that there's not enough time for the move to breathe because it's broken up. That's like my only takeaway from this.
Yeah, I don't know. This was really tough because it's a whole lot of fun, and it's a great moment, and it's a huge memory, and I think it does deserve to be on this list. It's hugely important.
Oh yeah,
but I just don't.
I'm
it's
saying
hard
put it at like number one. I mean, when we're talking about 28, I think 28's a great spot for it.
Elaine,
I can compromise.
228.
Sure. I would put it at 33. But if this is what's,
I would not put this behind TLC. I
okay.
would definitely put this above TLC.
Okay, no, the 28. 28. Yeah. That's what you guys want. I'm fine with that.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's do. We normally do the crawl down. Let's do the crawl up. TLC, we say
is more exciting than this to me.
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, we're a fundamental disagreement. So I feel like this is the moment where, you find that middle ground, and I think you guys found it.
boy, if
He's conceding, so
all right,
you
28
heard it here
is.
first.
28 it is. I want to know though, for you guys listening, what do you think? Canadian Stampede, is this a match out of 33 that we've ranked so far? Is this something that that you would expect to be higher? Would you put it in the top 20, top 10, or would you feel bottom half? Would you kind of agree with Landon? I don't know. It's a very interesting one.
Yeah, feel free to let us know that we're dickheads on Twitter, or
Yeah, that's
or
at
if we're
Last
not.
Match Cast. At least we knew the name of the announcers this time, and that's
Yeah.
good news.
Yeah, if you agree with us, tweet us. If you disagree with us, tweet us. Let us know. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Tell us why you agree.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
And don't forget, at the end of the season, you'll have your chance to rank your own top 40.
Which is
That's
not
right.
that far
at the
from now.
end of the season, oh my God! I just said it out loud. At the end of the season, we'll have done 40
Yeah,
episodes.
it's only 6 episodes away, right?
Oh my gosh!
That's
So
not
yeah,
right.
you'll have your chance to fill out a poll, rank your own top 40, send it back to us, and we'll have a big, long discussion on the season finale about how they compare and
And
what that means.
Landon might get the last laugh on this one, so we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Until next time, I am wearing a ridiculously large cowboy hat. And my name is Spencer.
I'm not wearing a cowboy hat, but my name is Paul.
And I hate hats. My name is Landon.
And our name is Last
Last
Match
Match
Standing.
Standing.